What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Matt, and I'm gonna be flying solo today. Today I want to show you how both me and Shawnee track our reading using an application called Notion. Notion is a database application, so you can keep track of anything you want, really. You can keep a journal. You could keep your to-do lists, like project checklists, anything and everything. I know tons and tons of people that use Notion to keep track of their entire life. I use it for a few things. The main thing that I use it for is for tracking my reading. There are other services that will track your reading, like Goodreads. There's Storygraph, and these are great for recommendations and like book discovery. And Storygraph in particular is pretty cool. It gives you some more stats about your reading, and we can talk about that at a different time. And both of these give you a social aspect as well. You can follow people, you can like their statuses and their updates and whatnot. But what we're going to be talking about today is more internally. This is my Notion database for reading, and I can share it with people. I can share it with Shawnee. I can share it with whoever I want, but this is for me. This is for the nerd that lives inside. And we're gonna go through this today. So Notion is amazing. Like I said, you can use it for all sorts of things. I use it to track music that I want to listen to. I use it to track our YouTube channel. I use it for so many things. But today we're going to talk about reading. Here I have all of the books that I have in my 2022 database. I have different tabs here for my to be read list, the books I'm currently reading, the books that I've finished, books that I own that I haven't read yet. This is books that I haven't read yet that I don't own yet and I still need to get. And this is everything. And then I also have this board view. It just gives you a different view of all the things. And so let's go find, okay, so today I started the Titan's Curse. So I need to add this into the database because I don't think I have it in my TBR. In fact, I can search the Titans. Yep, it's not there. Okay, so now what I can do is I can click new, and it's gonna pop up a new listing in the database in this template that I've already set. So and add that by Rick Riordan. I started it today. I haven't finished it yet, so I won't do that. The method is how I'm reading it. Am I physically reading it? Am I listening to it? Am I doing both? So I have the physical copy and I'm using Libby, which is just it's digital library. You connect it to your local library with your library card and your account, and you can check out books with ebooks and audiobooks, and it's really cool. I really enjoy that. This is my reading tab. Haven't finished it yet, so once I finish it, I will put my finish date, set my rating, and we'll look more into that later. My status is either to be read, reading, read, or did not finish. So currently, I'm gonna set it up in the TBR so I can show you here in a second. This is it's a middle grade fantasy, but I don't have that tab currently. So I'm going to put YA fantasy. And this is Percy Jackson. These are all the series that I've got going on here. So now if I clear this out, I just search Titan. Here it is. So this is now in my TBR list of my 2022 reading database. So now what I can do is I can change this status to currently reading. So now, since I'm in the TBR tab, I don't see it because that's not the status that's set. So if I go to currently reading, I now see the Titan's Curse. And so Edge Dancer by Brandon Sanderson, I decided I was going to pick up and read on my Kindle, but there are other books I wanted to read that took a precedence, and I own Edge Dancer. I know that I want to get into it. I'm taking a break from the Stormlight Archive right now, and the Cosmere. I'll get back into it for sure. So for now, I'm going to send this one back to be read. So now it's out of here. If I go here, back to my TBR and search Edge Dancer, there it is. It's back in my TBR list. This is just, it helps me keep track of what I've got going on in my life. And so when I finish a book, I will, so most recently I finished The Sea of Monsters. So when I finished it, I set my finish date, I put my reading. And so then once I change this from currently read to read, it will be in my read list. One thing that I like about Notion is that it allows me to put thoughts down like while I'm reading. So for Sea of Monsters, I had a lot of thoughts while I was reading it. There's a mobile app. I didn't mention that earlier. You can take pictures, throw them into a page. And so here is just a couple quotes that I liked as I was reading, took a picture, underlined it, added it to this page for Sea of Monsters. And so Notion is super powerful and you can do so many things with it. There are tons of videos online. If you decide you want to get into Notion for anything that you want to track, there's tons of videos online and so many resources for you. There's templates already that you can download. And so I have been meaning to build one of these for Shawnee for her Notion account. So today I'm going to real quick just run you through building this database. Okay, so here I'm logged in to Shawnee's Notion account. I've come in and I've clicked add a page. What we're going to do is we're going to add a database, which is going to be a collection of pages. And I want to start off with, we're going to start off with a table. So we're going to make this all books, or no, sorry. This is going to be called 2022 reading. That's the name of the database. My apologies. Okay, so now this view we're going to rename all books. We'll need a TBR. We'll need a currently reading by good type. We'll need another view that is read. We'll need another view. You know what? No, that's good for now. Okay, so now that I have my database with my views created, I am going to go ahead and start creating a new book entry for her. So we're going to create a template here. So this is the template in 2022 reading, meaning that every time that I add a new book, it's going to show up like this. So this first one, it auto-populates with a multi-select, and this I'm going to use as the method of reading. So this is going to be, how are you reading? Are you reading it as a physical copy? Are you listening to it on Audible? Or are you going to read it digitally? And for that, I just put Kindle because that's the way that we use it. And then I'll let her go and change the colors as she wants. Status, I've already set up to be read, currently reading, read, or DNF. This is a select. So the difference between multi-select and select is just what it sounds like. For multi-select, you can have multiple options. For select, there's only one option, and that is the option that it's going to be. So this option, we're going to edit to be a date. This will be the date started. We're going to add another date property. This will be date finished. Then we're going to add another one, another multi-select. This is going to be the genre of the book. And we'll add a couple of options. We have fantasy, we have literary fiction, we have nonfiction, we have YA, we have YA fantasy, just a few options. Okay, and then we need to add one last one that is a text property. This is going to be the name of the author. So all of these are going to allow us to sort and filter and use this data here to see the things that we want to see down the road, and so on and so forth. One more that I need to add is going to be a select type, and this is going to be the rating. We use emojis, and I'm on a PC currently, and it's a lot easier to add emojis on Apple. Okay, so this is the template for a new book in her reading database. So now if I were to, on this new row, if I click open, it opens up with this template. So the first one I see is called Cinder. It is by Marissa Meyer. And I don't know if how she's going to read it. I know that it is a TBR. I know that this is a YA. I'm not sure if it's a YA fantasy, but I know that it's young adult. She hasn't started it yet, so we're not going to fill that out. She obviously hasn't finished it yet, so we're not going to fill that out, nor will we fill out the rating category. Now you see this line as populated in her database. And so we can go ahead and move things around in the order that we want to see it. This is just a preference thing. You can even, if you know that you haven't, if it's on your TBR list, you can go ahead and hide this property in this view so that you don't have to see the date finished or the date started. But if I go in and I open it, it's still there. So now if I go into my TBR list, this is just a different view of the same database. Okay, so for me to show you how Notion really works, let me add a couple more books and I'll come back and I'll show you some more in-depth things. Okay, so I went ahead and I added some more books with some more information. And so now I can show you what I really love about Notion. And it's just organization, categorizing things, and just being able to look at what I only want to look at. So if I go here to this TBR view, this is just a different view of the same database. But what's cool about this is each view can have its own filters and sorting. So for the TBR view, you obviously want to see books that are labeled as TBR. So we can go over here to filter and click status. Over here, the status is TBR. So now we only see books that the status is TBR. And then as I said earlier, you can hide properties in view. So if it doesn't pertain to that tab, that view, you can get rid of it for that view. So here, the rating is still there. Rating is still here. Currently reading still has the date properties. TBR has neither the date properties or the rating property. So you only see what you need to see. We'll do the same for currently reading. So filter status is currently reading. We have not finished it, so we can hide that in view. We have not finished it, so we can hide the rating. And since we're in the currently reading tab, we can even hide the currently reading status. We don't need to know that. We don't need to see it because we know that these are books we're currently reading. And then for the read books, we will filter by status and read. And as she adds books to the all books, her Notion database will eventually look like mine. So yeah, I've been doing this since 2020, and it's been a great resource for me. This is my reading life is here in this database. This is everything. And so I'm really excited for Shawnee to get this. She's been asking me to make her this database for her since we got married, really. And I'm glad that I finally got around to doing it. I'll go back and perfect it and everything, but I just wanted you, the viewer, to see, one, how we're tracking our books, two, how awesome Notion is. And it's free. It's a free application. It works on Mac and Windows. It has a mobile app. You can use it on iPad and iPhone. And it's great. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have Notion. I wouldn't keep track of any of my books. That is for dang sure. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video, just going through our Notion database, our reading tracker. I use this thing every single day as I'm adding books that I want to read, as I'm moving books around, as I'm reading them, finishing them. This is my second brain for reading. This is how I keep track of all the books that I want to read, have read, and are currently reading, because it's a lot to keep track of. If you read as much as Shawnee and I do, it's a lot to keep track of. So this thing is a lifesaver. I would definitely recommend checking it out. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you did, go ahead and give the video a like for me. If you are not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We would really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to do something fun today. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.